I'm home. What? No. Weren't you supposed to be working late again today? Why didn't you let me know? Hey, don't look! When I entered the house and went to the living room, I found my husband and a female doctor entwined on the sofa. This woman was not a doctor treating my husband's illness, but she worked at the same hospital. Hey, what are you doing? Don't stare at me like that! What are you thinking? My heart rate spiked and my mind went blank. You've been cheating on me behind my back? What are you thinking? Cheating is just unthinkable. So, there's a reason for this. A reason for cheating? No matter the justification, it's still betrayal. It was likely that not only me, but also my husband panicking, since he was caught in the act. He seemed to be hastily trying to make excuses to me. However, no reason could justify infidelity. Don't you feel bad about what you've done? You're just trying to make excuses, but how about honestly admitting what you did? I don't want you to make me any angrier. Yeah, so I cheated. What's wrong with that? It's only natural to go to a better woman. I was just following my biological instincts. What? She's far more attractive than you as a woman, that's all. No more, no less. You should face reality. It's all your fault. I stood frozen on the spot, just standing dumbfounded. My mind was a mess with feelings of affection and hatred for my husband and anxiety about the future. So, what do you want to do now? Don't you feel any remorse for what you've done? If you were sorry, you'd apologize, right? Why should I apologize? I'm not interested in fixing our relationship. There's no need for an apology. Feeling my heart rate increase further, I knew my husband was aware he had done something wrong, but he was not inclined to apologize considering divorce. Enamored with the female doctor, my husband seemed to think little of me. At that moment, I made up my mind. I would make these two regret their actions for the rest of their lives. My name is Stacy, and I currently work in sales at a small to medium-sized company while living with my husband. We married a year ago after dating, and this is the first year of our marriage. Neither of us earned much, so while we weren't living a wealthy lifestyle, we enjoyed our daily lives. Hey, it's my birthday, so why don't we go to that sushi restaurant near the station? I heard it's really good. Really? I don't mind. I'm so happy. I've always wanted to try a sushi place. Because we weren't wealthy, we only ate out once a month. We mostly cooked at home, sparingly spending extra money. However, the little luxuries we did indulge in were blissful times. Then, one day, hey, I quit my job, so until I find a new job, I'll take care of things at home, and I'm counting on you for money. What? For a moment, I thought I had misheard. However, as my husband casually said this while looking at his smartphone, I was at a loss for how to react. What do you mean, you quit your job? So you're unemployed now? Yeah, that's what it means. Wait a minute, you have to explain properly. Why did you suddenly quit your job? I didn't get along with my boss. Rather than working with someone like that, I figured I'd better look for a different job. I felt a flicker of anger as my husband casually made this announcement while fiddling with his smartphone. Our current lifestyle was supported by both of our incomes, and suddenly relying solely on mine would definitely tighten our finances. I wasn't necessarily against him quitting his job, but I wished he had looked further ahead and planned better. It wouldn't have been too late to discuss it with me before making such a decision. I wondered why he had to decide everything by himself. Moreover, he could have started looking for another job before quitting. He usually came home on time, so he couldn't use being too busy or too exhausted as an excuse. Haven't you started job hunting yet? I want to enjoy some time off first. Before I start something new, I want to relax at home. Maybe I'll start job hunting next month. Next month? Job hunting doesn't immediately result in getting a job. You should act more strategically. You're not living alone. How do you plan to sustain us until your next job? You have your job too, so we'll manage. You're worrying too much. Though his optimistic words were not enough, given the situation, we would have to live on my salary alone until my husband found a new job. A heavy sigh escaped me, but being pessimistic wouldn't help. With my husband at home, he would presumably help with the household chores. I tried to convince myself that there were some benefits to the situation. However, my expectations were bitterly disappointed. I'm home. Welcome back. I'm hungry, so can you make dinner quickly? Hey, didn't you hang the laundry? The dishes are piling up. And you didn't fold the laundry either? It rained today. Why didn't you bring it in? Today was supposed to be a movie day. I'm off tomorrow, so we can just do it then. The husband, still in his pajamas, reclined on the sofa and said this while watching TV. While I was working, my husband did not do any housework. He had said he would take care of the house until he found a job. I was really upset, nearly on the verge of yelling. You could at least do some housework. You're home all day. Why don't you do anything? You always did the housework before. I've never done it, so I can't. Also, I'm resting my mind right now because I'm worn out from dealing with my boss. Please don't push me too hard. I couldn't argue with that. If my husband was too mentally drained to feel motivated, I couldn't press him. I understood the complexities and stresses of workplace relationships, so I decided to wait and see. However, even after a month, my husband showed no signs of starting his job search. You said you'd start job hunting this month. What's happening? Can't I rest a bit longer? There's no rush. We have savings, and I think you're worrying too much. He said this nonchalantly, but to me he didn't seem stressed. Of course, it's possible he was hiding his true feelings, suffering silently. But seeing him idly watch movies and play games all day made me feel the unfairness of why I alone should struggle so much. I'm the only one having a hard time here. Don't you care at all? You don't seem to be under any stress. You look fine. Please don't compare yourself to me. No, I have stress at work too, you know? But if I quit my job right now, we couldn't live. Plus, I'm doing all the housework too. It would be nice if you showed a little willingness to help. I vented my frustrations to my husband as if releasing pent-up feelings. However, he was half listening while fiddling with his smartphone. Are you listening to me? Huh? I'm in the middle of a game. Can we talk later? Even as I spoke desperately, he prioritized his game. He wasn't this selfish when we were dating. I couldn't help but sigh. Maybe it's better not to expect much from my husband anymore. That thought began to take root. And from then on, I stopped caring about his selfish actions. One day, can we talk? I have something important to say. Something important? He was unusually dressed in a shirt and jeans, as if he had been out somewhere. What happened? I actually went to the hospital today. I have been having severe dizziness lately. I thought I should get it checked out. And what did they say? It's leukemia. He said this looking down, and I was at a loss for words. At the same time, I regretted everything I had said to him before. I had assumed he was just lazily enjoying TV and games at home to avoid job hunting, but perhaps he had been suffering from his illness all along. Maybe that was why he went to the hospital, and this was the result. I blamed myself for not noticing sooner. So, are you okay? Well, it's not immediately life-threatening, but I need a bone marrow donor. I have to go back to the hospital to discuss the details. I see. We discussed his illness and I did some research on my own. It wasn't an immediate threat to his life, and there was a good chance of recovery if a suitable bone marrow donor was found. Knowing this, I went straight to the hospital. Maybe I could be a donor. If there was anything I could do for him, I was ready to do it. Thank you. I appreciate your help. After that, my husband and I went to the hospital for donor compatibility testing. The results wouldn't be immediate, so we went home for now. I strongly hoped I could be a donor, wanting to support him. Are you going out again today? Yes, I'm going to the hospital to talk to the doctor. There's a lot we need to discuss about the future treatments. I see. Do you want me to call a taxi for you? No need. I can bike there. It might be late, though. He left the house saying this. He's been going to the hospital frequently lately, and I've been worried about his health every day. The doctor seemed genuinely concerned and was willing to talk after hours due to other patients' schedules. I was grateful to the doctor for making time for him, and I felt that I should do something nice for the doctor once everything was resolved. However, at the same time, something didn't quite add up. When my husband went to the doctor, he often didn't return until late at night. Hello? It's already 9 p.m. Aren't you coming home yet? I need to talk a bit more about the treatment, so I'll be back after 10 p.m. You have work tomorrow, so go ahead and sleep. Okay, I understand. It wasn't exactly a complaint, but I wondered if there really was that much to discuss 3 times a week. The doctor knew best about my husband's illness, so I just watched as the month flew by without saying much. I had already received the results of the donor test, and I was eligible to be my husband's bone marrow donor. It would have been highly unlikely without a blood relation, so I was really happy. However, I had been too busy with work lately and hadn't found the time to tell my husband yet. Well, I'm done for the day, so I'll be heading off now. I was thinking of going out for drinks today. Are you leaving already? I have some errands to run. Please invite me again next time. After declining the company drinking party, I rushed home. I was supposed to work late into the night, but I finished earlier than expected and wanted to surprise my husband with the donor results. If I surprised him by coming home, he would surely be shocked. I wondered if he would be happy if I told him at the front door. As I hurried home from the station, the lights inside the house were already on. However, an unfamiliar luxury car was parked right in front of our house. Maybe we have a visitor. With that thought, I unlocked the door and entered. I'm home. What? Weren't you supposed to work late today? Why didn't you tell me you were coming home? Hey, don't look. As I entered the living room, there they were, entwined on the sofa. This person wasn't a doctor treating my husband, but worked at the same hospital. Both were undressed, clearly having an affair. I was speechless at the sight of them. Hey, what are you doing? Stop staring so intensely. What are you thinking? My heart raced, and my mind went blank. Why would my husband and a doctor from the hospital be having an affair here? I couldn't accept the reality and couldn't think of anything. Before my eyes, the two began to dress. You've been cheating on me behind my back? No, so... As I said that, my husband mumbled something. Did he really think his excuses would work after being caught in the act? Even if there was no romantic feeling, it was still an affair. I had no intention of forgiving my husband. What are you thinking? Cheating is just unthinkable. So, there's a reason for this. A reason for cheating? No matter the justification, it's still betrayal. Probably not only I, but my husband was also panicking since he was caught in the act. He seemed to be hastily trying to make excuses, however, no reason could justify infidelity. For me, trust is the most important thing in a marriage, and there could be no greater betrayal than this. Don't you feel bad about what you've done? You're just trying to make excuses, but how about honestly admitting what you did? I don't want you to make me any angrier. Yeah, so I cheated. What's wrong with that? It's only natural to go to a better woman. I was just following my biological instincts. What? She's far more attractive than you as a woman. That's all. No more, no less. You should face reality. It's all your fault. Realizing that there was no room for excuses, my husband started to argue back. The female doctor sitting next to him was just silent. She showed no sign of apologizing or even making eye contact with me. Both of them together, what are they thinking? I felt rage bubbling up from the depths of my stomach. Anyway, it's about time for her to leave, so we'll talk after that. Saying that, my husband took the hand of his girlfriend, the doctor, and led her out of the house. I stood there frozen, just standing dumbfounded. My mind was a mess with feelings of affection and hatred for my husband and anxiety about the future. But my husband soon came back. So, what do you want to do now? I felt like I was about to explode at my husband's words. If we were to start over, he should apologize first. I struggled to contain my desire to yell at him, trying not to get too emotional. It's pointless to get angry based on emotions alone. What's important is to have a discussion. Don't you feel any remorse for what you've done? If you were sorry, you'd apologize, right? Why should I apologize? I'm not interested in fixing our relationship. There's no need for an apology. Feeling my heart rate increase further, I knew my husband was aware he had done something wrong, but he was not inclined to apologize considering divorce. Enamored with the female doctor, my husband seemed to think little of me. Like I said before, I'm a man. If there's a better woman around, I'll go to her. It's completely normal. What's wrong with that? You're married. No matter the reason, cheating is never acceptable. How can you not understand such a basic thing? You're just being defiant. Look, let me say one thing. Do you think you're such a great woman? What? My husband sighed as he glared at me and began to speak. I got emotional, but I fell silent under his piercing gaze. I felt uncomfortable under his intense stare, but he continued speaking. You're at best above average. Your face and figure are just normal. And you don't earn much money. When I quit my job, you could have at least said, I'll support you. You're not the woman I want. So you cheated with the female doctor because she has a higher social status and earns a lot more? Exactly. Her facial value is higher, and she even does cosplay for me. Just being with a female doctor makes me feel good. Listening to my husband boast with a smirk, I felt nauseated. I never thought the man I married and spent every day with could be such a vile person. He's a despicable person, blinded by immediate desires without considering your own position or how others feel. So that's your true nature, Say whatever you want. I'm going to divorce you and remarry the doctor I'm seeing. That way, my standard of living will improve and everything will work out. I'll write up the divorce papers right now, so just sign them. Do you not want to divorce me? Well, I must be quite the charmer since a doctor is interested in me, but I have no use for you anymore. Become a business owner and earn some money, then get back to me. Then I might consider dealing with you. Smirking, my husband went to print the divorce papers from the computer. It seems that all he could think about now is divorcing me and remarrying his girlfriend, the doctor. Where did the flustered man go who was worried when I caught him cheating? I filled everything out on my part, so make sure you write everything correctly on yours. Okay, understood. I took the divorce papers from my husband and filled them out meticulously. Then I filed the papers away and quickly packed my bags. I hadn't decided where to go yet, but I knew I didn't want to stay in this house, a place where I caught him cheating, any longer. After about an hour, I finished packing my things and went back to my husband. Since this house is rented under your name, I'm leaving. I'll make sure the divorce papers are submitted, so don't worry. I appreciate your compliance. Also, about the bone marrow donor issue, I won't be donating. I don't know if you'll find someone else, but good luck. That's all. What? His face, previously smug, lost all its composure as he reacted in a stunned voice. I had planned to tell him about the donor match when I got home today and hadn't told him anything yet. A donor? You mean you matched? Yes, I've been busy with work and you've been too busy cheating and hardly at home, right? So I hadn't told you, but the test results already came back positive. Really? That's great, really great. I know it's hard to find a match. I wasn't expecting this kind of coincidence. He began to get excited like a child who had just received a gift, but he didn't seem to understand what I had said. I was a match, but I never said I would donate. He had cheated and hadn't even apologized. Why would I think of donating for someone like him? It seems you misunderstood, but I am not going to donate. I just reported that I matched. I don't think I need to extend a hand to a betrayer like you. Just because I matched doesn't mean I have to donate. Even if I decide not to donate, you can't blame me. Wait, are you serious? That has to be a joke, right? Of course I'm serious. Why on earth you think I would donate to you? Are you living in a fantasy world? People help those in need. Donating is about saving lives. Are you planning to just abandon my life? Yes, I am. I don't care what happens to you. I think it's just karma. You can handle it however you want. He collapsed to his knees, banging the floor with his fists and raising his voice in frustration. It was a terrifying sight. That's too much. It's not like you lose anything by helping. Let me put it this way. I don't gain anything either, so why should I help you? Because it's the right thing to do. Don't you even understand basic decency? Well, let me tell you something. If you're married, you shouldn't commit adultery, no matter the reason. Don't you understand that simple thing? I thought that was basic common sense. Silenced by my words, my husband fell quiet. I had thought he might come crawling back, begging for forgiveness once he knew I was a possible donor. He's the type of person who would do anything if it benefited him. But in the end, he never apologized to me. Whether he doesn't think he did anything wrong or he has some twisted pride, I don't know. Maybe he thinks I'm not worth apologizing to. However, the fact remains he never once apologized to me. I think you understand this, but I'll be seeking compensation from you due to the stress you put me under. And not just from you, but from your mistress as well. She might lose her status as a doctor, but you two can work it out together. What? No, you don't need to go that far. If someone cheats, they should be ready for the consequences. You wouldn't understand that, given your lack of common sense. I'm sick. How can you do this to me? Your being sick doesn't matter to me. You have to take responsibility for your actions. You're not a child, so don't make me lecture you like this. If you don't pay the compensation I demand, I intend to take this to court. That could really endanger her career as a doctor. You should think about the other person and make your decisions wisely. Silenced by my words, my husband had nothing more to say. With nothing left to discuss, I left the scene. For now, I rented a nearby hotel and stayed there for the night. Whether he went to talk to his mistress after that, I don't know, but he called me multiple times the next morning. Hello? I'll pay the money. Just keep it quiet from the hospital. If they find out, she can't work as a doctor anymore, so please. Considering your situation, why did you cheat? It's your mistress who doesn't understand her position. I don't see why I should assure you anything. Please, don't make me suffer anymore. Different from yesterday, he didn't lash out at me. I could tell from his voice that he was in a dire situation, but it infuriated me how he was now depending on my sympathy. This was a mess they had created themselves. It's absurd for him to ask for my help. I had enough of getting irritated. With that in mind, I decided to be firm once again. Everything that happens from now on is the result of your own actions. Whatever difficulties arise, it's your own fault. That's all I have to say. Goodbye. With that, I hung up the phone. Afterward, irritated by my husband's repeated calls, I blocked his number. I submitted the divorce papers to the city office in the morning, and the divorce was finalized. I decided to leave the matter of seeking compensation to my lawyer. Any updates on your ex-husband's situation? We'll agree to minimal contact, so I guess I don't have to think about it anymore. I see. By the way, she also had to resign from the hospital. It's unacceptable for a doctor to engage in an affair with a patient. After the compensation payments were settled, I was talking to the doctor who had handled the donor testing. According to him, the mistress was forced out of her medical position by the hospital. It's an expected outcome, but I still felt a bit relieved. I figured as much. Well, it's karma, and that's the punishment she deserves. The doctor nodded quietly in agreement. Whether she changes or not, I hope she seriously confronts her wrongdoings and uses this experience to better her life going forward. As I was walking back to my apartment where I live alone, I heard a man's voice from behind. Chills ran down my spine when I recognized it was my ex-husband's voice. What are you doing here? You won't answer your phone and you don't respond to my messages. Wait a minute, what are you doing here? You're not stalking me, are you? No, I just happened to see you here, but that's not important. I've changed my mind. I realize now that I need you. So can we get back together? Just hearing his voice filled me with disgust. But now he was asking to reconcile. I couldn't understand what he was thinking. I don't understand what you mean. I thought about remarrying her, but she rejected me, saying it was all just a game. Plus, her losing her position as a doctor was all my fault. She told me never to come near her again. And I realized that you're the only one I can trust. Thanks to you, I've come to this realization, so I want to live together again. After listening to him, I learned that he had been betrayed by his mistress as well. However, he had already betrayed someone else by cheating. Complaining about being betrayed himself was ironic. No one in his position has the right to complain, and he's justly betrayed. He seems to misunderstand, thinking he's the victim, which is truly pathetic. He needs to understand his own position better. So what? That has nothing to do with me. Can you please not come any closer? Please, seriously, you're the only one I can rely on now. I have no job, no money. I'm begging you. I have my own life. There's absolutely nothing I should do for a betrayer like you. And I don't want you to come any closer. If you approach me anymore, I'll report you to the police for stalking, understand? Now disappear from my sight. As I raised my voice slightly, The bystanders turned to look, and my ex-husband quickly moved away from me. After that, he stopped contacting me, and I didn't run into him in the city. I now live happily on my own. According to a mutual acquaintance, he couldn't repay his debts and eventually declared bankruptcy. Although his parents are still alive, he is now living on welfare, suffering daily due to his pride. I haven't heard details about his illness, but I assume no donor was found. I believe that what you do comes back to you. People who betray others find themselves abandoned by everyone. Luck turns away from them, and they should continue to live a miserable life. That's the destiny and the way to atone for people like my ex-husband and his mistress.